Welcome to my tank tour. I'm so excited to show you all my tanks. Before I get going, just a couple of things. I have two branded Sea Monkey tanks. I have the Sea Monkey's Magic Castle and I have the Sea Monkey's Ghostly Galleon, as you can see. The Ghostly Galleon is a vintage tank and it's really hard to get hold of. I think I managed to buy it for about £60 on eBay from someone who was selling it from Italy, and that's about the only one I managed to track down on the internet. So if you know anywhere to find them, please let me know. I'd love to hear, because that was the only one I found and that took me a very long time and a lot of money to get hold of that tank. But it is a great tank and this hobby's slightly addictive. It's very addictive, to be fair. Anyway, yeah, I've got two Sea Monkey tanks. Just a quick note before I get into the actual tank tour, sea monkeys and brine shrimp are two different species. Although the terms are often used interchangeably, they're actually two different separate species. So brine shrimp are Artemia salina and sea monkeys are Artemia MYOS, which is the New York Oceanographic Society, because they were bred as a hybrid in a lab with different species of Artemia to create a hardier, stronger species that does well as pets, and just to make them a little bit easier to care for. I have both brine shrimp and sea monkeys, as well as fairy shrimp, and I'll be covering the differences between those in a future video, as well as other non-sea monkey branded tanks. I have a coral sea dragons tank to set up, which is this one here, which I believe is from the works. And I also have a Seachers tank, which I'm going to set up, which is another company that do brine shrimp tanks. So I got some goodies arrived from them this morning, so there'll be another video coming soon on me setting up those tanks for the first time. I'm also going to do an aqua dragons and kind of compare all of them, and that'll be in a future video. If there's any other tanks you want me to try, please let me know down below and I will see what I can do and we'll do a video on them. It's enough of me talking now. I'm going to show you my tanks. Thank you. So these are my two Sea Monkey tanks. On the left we've got the Sea Monkey Magic Castle tank, and on the right we've got the Sea Monkey Ghostly Galleon, which is my pirate tank. The Castle tank currently has some very newly hatched babies in. They hatched yesterday morning, so they're only a day old at the moment, at the time this video was made. So they're still very tiny, but you can see them just jittering about in the tanks. They have quite shaky movements when they're very young. And the tank on the right, the pirate tank, there's quite a lot of adults in there at the moment. There's some mating pairs, and there is also some females with egg sacs. So this is my Jerry clan. They were named after Jerry. He was my largest sea monkey in the tank, so my castle tank became known as the Jerry clan. Here you can see Jerry at the top of the screen, as well as all of his friends and also the babies of the tank. Two of these babies went on to breed. This is Buffy and Spike. Sadly, the rest of the Jerry clan did pass away due to a bacterial infection, which was caused by some algae in the tank. Algae is really good in sea monkey tanks as they will eat it. However, it did encourage some bacteria to grow, which I did investigate with a microscope and I did look into and have dealt with, as well as liaising with my local vets on dealing with the issue. So Buffy and Spike are swimming around here really happily. So they are my second generation of the Jerry clan, and they went on to have some lovely babies. You can see they're jittering in the castle. This is what a pregnant sea monkey looks like. You can see on the back the egg sac that she is carrying. So there is a clear difference between male and female sea monkeys that you can really clearly see when they reach adulthood. So the female has the egg sac on the back and the male has the claspers on the front, which he will clasp around the female's egg sac and they will swim around the tank like you saw Buffy and Spike mating. I wouldn't worry if there's no males in your tank, because females can have unfertilized eggs laid and they will go on to produce female-only babies. So as you can see here, the sexual features don't start to appear until they reach juvenile stage, and then in adulthood they are much clearer. So it can take a while to be able to distinguish if you have males and females in your tank and which ones are which. But don't worry, it does take longer in some tanks compared to other tanks. But you can see very clearly when they are adults what the sex of them is. So this is my pirate tank, my other sea monkey tank. I followed all the instructions with my sea monkey tanks. However, when I put the eggs in this tank, they didn't hatch at first. So through reading the Sea Monkey Handbook, I've learnt that they weren't actually... There's something different with these eggs. They were second generation eggs. So basically they need to go through 2 dry spells before hatching. So what I did, I let all of the water naturally evaporate from the tank, which didn't take too long, because it's on a 28-degree heating pad, and then I topped it up with more purified water and 1/4 of the water purifier packet. So I use distilled water because it's very pure, and the water purifier packets because all the salt deposits are left in the bottom, so you just need to add that little bit extra. And as you can see, they've grown up really well, and there are mating pairs in the tank. So apart from this, I did follow all the sea monkey instructions, as you can see here. They are great. They're a great tool in raising sea monkeys, lots of accurate information, and a really good aid in making sure your sea monkeys are thriving. So this is what I did. The best temperature is 24 to 27 degrees. I keep mine around 26 to 28 because I find that's what's done really well for mine. And the Sea Monkey handbook that comes with the tanks is a really great piece of information. There's lots of great stuff in there, so I highly recommend giving it a read. One thing I did differently with my tanks, but isn't in the Sea Monkey instruction, I added some extra rocks to help raise the pH, as you can see here in my tank. In the Ghostly Galleon tank, we've got some here. So this is ocean rock that I put into my tank to increase the pH of the tank. Because I measured the pH and it was sitting around 6.5, which I noticed was due to the water I had been using. So this slowly dissolves in the water and helps to increase the pH, and they're about 7.5, 8, which is a quite good stable range alkaline water for them that they seem to be really happy and thriving in. I got the ocean rock from my local aquatic store, and they were really helpful with advising me about what I could do to help with this issue. So what I had done is used tap water, and then as I had topped the tap water with a purifier at first, as the instructions said so, and then I had used bottled water to top up the tanks as the water evaporated. However, the pH of bottled water is around 6.5, which is making my tank too acidic. So I now use distilled water, which I make at home, which I will have a future video on how to distill water for your tanks. Both of my tanks are situated on a heating pad right here, which is an under vivarium heating pad, and I found that works really well rather than trying to get small tank heaters, because it provides an even distribution of heat and you're not trying to get anything in the really small rim. So location wise, my Sea Monkey tanks are set up on my desk. There is a window nearby, so they do get sunlight, but not enough direct sunlight that it could harm the tanks. Because they are on a controlled thermostat, even if there was a lot of sunlight, they wouldn't be overheating because the heater would click off. So I'm very cautious of that, and if it is a particularly sunny day, it is something I do keep an eye on. So this is the app that I use to control my Sea Monkey temperature. It's currently 27.7 and it's set at 28 degrees. So there is a graph, so you can track the temperatures when you haven't been actively checking it, and it does keep the data from previous days, and you can click through it, as you can see here, to see what the temperature was doing at what time, and it does keep all previous days' data, so you can go back and check and see what's going on if there is a problem, or to make sure that nothing has cut out overnight and make sure it stayed stable. It does stay stable, but within a little bit of a range, so it does fluctuate. So you can change the temperature you want it set at. There are also the values you can change as to what value you want it to go between. Mine goes between 25 and 29, and if it goes outside of that range, it does alarm. I have recently cleaned out my Sea Monkey Magic Castle tank. You can sort of see the difference between the two in the algae and the colour of the water due to an algal bloom, which I believe caused a bacteria growth in the tank, which did cause the sad death of Buffy and Spike, my 2 adult sea monkeys that were in there before. I'll cover more of this in an upcoming video, sort of what signs to look out for with common sea monkey problems, and also how to treat with them and what could be going wrong, and how to just sort of treat and deal with common tank problems and what to look out for. So my grow lights. There are 4 LED grow lights, which are blue and red, and they are on goosenecks, so they can be moved around the tank as so. There is a little timer connected to them here. Turns on, and as you can see, you've got the lovely sort of pinkish hue over the tanks. This is just the controller that came with it, and I tend to set them on for 9 hours, like so, and then they will be on for 9 hours and automatically turn off, and then the next day they will come back on at the time that I turned them on the previous day. So I have quite an automated system, so I don't have to be worried about it too much and making sure to turn the lights on every day, which I think works really well for me, and it creates consistency as well. So the lights do themselves. The thermostat is connected to my phone so I can check it, but because of the thermostat connected to the heater, I don't have to worry about it or anything, only if it alarms to tell me that there is a temperature problem, because if it's too hot or too cold out of the parameters I've set, it will alarm and then I can deal with it as such. My airline is on a Google Smart, it's connected to my Google Home smart system. So it's a Philips Hue smart plug, which I've set timers for on my phone, so at certain times of the day it does turn on and off. I can also use the magic words.
Okay, turning Sea Monkey Kingdom on.
So Google has just activated the airflow, so you can see in the pirate tank you've got the bubbles coming out nice and slowly there. However, I do need to adjust the airflow a little bit because it's not really coming out of this one. So it does take some fiddling with, because every time you turn it on and off the air pressure can change. So sometimes just need a little bit of fiddling with to make sure they're flowing as you want them. But you can see the little bubbles coming up from the air stones into my tanks there. So they are my 2 sea monkey colonies that I've got on the go at the moment. I hope you enjoyed my tank tour. If you've got any cool sea monkey tanks you want to share with me, please feel free to let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear about them, especially if you've got any cool rare and vintage tanks. I know how hard they are to find, so please brag away. Like, honestly, it was such an achievement when I got the Ghostly Galleon. I was so proud. So happy to have tracked it down and paid far too much money, but it's worth it. It's a really good tank. So let me know down below if you've got any cool tanks you want to brag about. I'd love to hear. At some point in the future there'll probably be a more in-depth video, really going into the accessories and everything else and my setup about my tanks. If that's something you want to see, please let me know down in the comments. I don't just want to bore you all. It will be quite a long and in-depth video, but if you would like to know more, if you have any questions, again, please let me know down in the comments. I hope you've enjoyed my video. If you haven't already, please hit like, subscribe, share the video. Thank you again for watching. Have a good day. Cheers.